Hey everyone, Loken, Rolly, and I are back to talk about the latest chapter of My Hero Academia. Join the discussion by leaving a comment and let us know what your take would be. Spoiler warning, this video will cover chapter 312 of My Hero Academia. If you enjoy these videos, please help support the channel by leaving a like and subscribing to Texas Smash. Hit the bell icon and turn on all notifications so that you can be sure to catch us every time a new chapter is released. Let's nerd out together. .312 kicks off with a brief flashback of Hawks explaining to Deku that there is one Tartarus escapee that would have the capabilities to contend with Deku. This villain used to be a pro hero and was Hawks' senpai. Flashback to present, Deku recognizes who we now know as Lady Nagant based off of Hawks' description of her. Deku is running for his life while Lady Nagant continues to fire at him. We learn from an old Snipe interview that Lady Nagant has the ability to create various types of bullet for her rifle with her quirk. She can pull pieces of her hair out and mold them into any bullet she sees fit. She can make hollow bullets, bullets that curve, whatever she needs. Deku pinpoints her location, and despite Hawk's advice, he decides to charge straight at Lady Nagant. The chapter closes with yet another flashback. This time, it is when Lady Nagant is in the midst of escaping Tartarus and All For One requests her to capture Deku alive. He appeals to her ideals by saying the fall of pro-hero society that Lady Nagant wished for will never happen as long as Deku is alive. The chapter closes with a gift from All For One to Lady Nagant, a new quirk, Airwalk.
For me, I thought it was interesting that to find out that she's Hawks' senpai.
Yeah, so Hawks, if you think about it, his parents were criminals, and then now his senpai is a criminal. Like, everybody in Hawks' life. And even Endeavor, the person his favorite hero, so to speak, he is the hero that most of society views as a criminal, so.
Yeah, that's we baby can't catch a break.
Everybody around him.
Criminals.
And then and with that, he knows how strong she is. And right off the bat, he's telling Deku in the hospital, run. Like, if you engage with her, don't do it. Just go.
Yeah, that's coming from Hawks saying
Right.
that.
And even though earlier he did say that with the villains, the escapees, they wouldn't even be able to, he was saying, so capturing you alive must be the villain's best bet, which for most of the Tartarus escapees would be impossible, except for her. So everyone but her is the only one who would even be able to get Deku.
Right. So stronger than Moonfish, stronger than Muscular. I mean, I don't think many people questioned that really, but strongest in Tartarus, aside from All For One and Tamura was never really in Tartarus, but after All For One, strongest in Tartarus, huh?
Right.
That's impressive.
And now we know her name, Lady Nagant.
Sounds so regal.
We may or may not have practiced saying that name a few times before the recording started.
Nagant gonna do it.
Did you say her name?
Nagant. Nagant. Pretty cool. I like it.
It is cool though. Like, I mean, Snipe's cool and all, but there wasn't really a true long-range shooter type character. Snipe was the best we got, and let's be real. I mean, we haven't seen much from Snipe. I don't think anybody's a huge Snipe fan, so it is cool to kind of get someone that's, got some really super long range. Like, can you think of someone with, as far as an attack is concerned, a longer range than her in the show? I mean, Kurogiri, but that's not an attack per se. That's a.
Yeah, I think she's the only one. And it was cool to finally find out what it was that she was holding in her hand in the last chapter. It was her hair.
Does her hair just grow back? Or, I mean, eventually she runs out of hair, right?
I would hope to goodness it grows back, or she should be bald at this point.
Right. Like a normal head of hair grows? Because you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I bet that's part of her quirk.
Back.
I'm sure she can just pull on it and it just snaps off and she can just, it keeps coming.
Yeah.
She seems very level-headed and just like cool. She's not even stressing out. Seeing the panels of her, Deku's all freaking out and she's just like, oh, you dodged my bullet. Oh no, like here's another one.
Yeah.
Very composed. But again, Hawk Senpai, you would expect that.
Mm-hmm. She needs to be next level, which I feel like she's delivering on it.
She is so far.
The
I wonder
human
what caused
sniper
her.
rifle.
I wonder what caused her to like. What was that breaking point for her
Mm-hmm.
to
Yep.
switch?
Yeah, that's something I wanted to talk about too. So whenever All for One tries to use that to motivate her, right? But it doesn't really tell you what it was exactly that happened.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I'm on board with this, but someone was saying that maybe or was it you, Loken? I can't remember who was saying it. Maybe she is a double agent. And she's just been in Tartarus, kind of like Hawks. Same type of deal. Not sure if I'm on board with that, but it's food for thought.
I mean, I mentioned it, but I don't know how serious I wasn't that serious
Right.
about it, but we could
Yeah,
see.
we
It'd be interesting.
we do that all the time.
Yeah.
Just pull stuff out of the sky.
I thought it was cool the interaction between them, just when she did fire one of her curve bullets, the accuracy of that, but then Deku catching it, and then when you see there's like a small panel, so her bullets just aren't normal bullets. She has different ones she can make, and then the one, even though he caught it, it still exploded on him. And then like later in the chapter, there's a little bullet point that says bullets with a hollow space inside the shell. When they hit a target, the shell fragments outwards. So it's not just sniper, it's not just making one regular type of bullet. She can make multiple kinds, and no matter what, she's getting you and then gonna do some damage.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And Deku looks messed up already.
The only other thing from the snipe conversation is the fact that it's the quirk aspect is the bullet and the gun accuracy is her skill, which I thought that was noteworthy.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Snipe's quirk homing allows him to lock onto it, but her, like you're saying, is just skill. Pretty cool. She looks so young.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
We were talking before you got on, Locan, about it was last chapter. So just last chapter, because of the protest against Endeavor and all that, they decided to let Deku get a few more kilometers ahead. They said, I looked up the Shonen translation just to be sure. You can't know exactly how far Deku is away from Endeavor, Hawks, and Genist, but they said to let him get an additional 1 to 2 kilometers from what they were already trailing behind him. So then now we know that from this chapter, Lady Nagant's range is 3 kilometers. This is like the worst time for Endeavor, Hawks, and Genist to give Deku more space is right whenever this happens. So I just thought that. Go ahead, Willie.
No, I was just about to say, yeah, that's really poor timing for them wanting to do that right whenever she pops up.
Yeah, because if they hadn't, I feel like they would have been close enough to see what was going on.
Yeah.
Without having Deku have to call them, which he can't do anymore. So, anything on Overhaul?
I find it funny that this man is just completely broken. All he wants to do is go see the old man. That's all he wants. But outside of that, he is just a husk.
Yes, exactly. I feel bad for him though, kind of. Yeah. I'm like, oh,
I don't know if I'd say I feel bad for him, but yeah, I see where you're going. Is it impossible that Overhaul? I mean, why does he want to go see the old man? Because he feels bad, right? He screwed him over, and now he realizes how wrong he was. Because Overhaul's the one that put that old man in a coma to begin with. Now he's had all this time and do what?
Like I have no sympathy for this man whatsoever after all the god awful things he did.
You're right. But why does he want to get to him so bad? I think it's to fix what, to start to make amends. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm reaching here, but why does he want to get to the old man so bad? Because he wants to get him out of his coma. And I think he realizes that he was in the wrong, at least from a Hisaikai standpoint.
I mean, they had showed him before, really looking up to him, even, after, during all of that stuff that was going on and, that particular arc. I don't know. I just don't want to expect anything sweet and noble from this particular person, which is the only reason I thought.
You're right on that. It's hard to see him doing anything.
It's cool though that she did respond to him as far as the what we have as a translation as soon as we're done here. Like, yes, as soon as we're done here. So after they get Deku, they are gonna go back to the boss.
So she claims. I read that, but
Mhm.
even when I read that the first time, I thought, is she
No.
telling the truth though? Why would she
Yeah.
care about that? You know,
Why would she care about bringing him? This man has no arms. Why did you bring him?
there's been a lot of speculation that, I mean, she said that he could be useful, right? I think she said something to that effect. She thought that he
Yeah.
might be useful.
She said he's a broken man, but I thought he could be useful later on. Again, I don't know how bad she really is. Like,
Quirks awaken, you know, Overhaul could start using his feet instead of his hands. I know a lot of people have speculated on that for a while. Then he would be super useful.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility since, we do see Todoroki able to use his feet primarily for his eyes. So I guess that could
Mm-hmm.
happen. Something to ponder over.
Yeah. So with Hawks and Genist and Endeavor being out of range, this is the theory I took from Danny Boy. You think Toga might be the one to save Deku? You laugh, but think about it for a second.
No, just the thought of that happening, it just makes me giggle. Like if it does happen, I'll be chuckling the whole way because I can see her doing something like that. But at the same time,
It's fun to think about.
it's very fun to think about. Just her jumping in, trying to save her precious love. It's great to think about. I don't know if it would necessarily happen right here though.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, I guess the best, you know, if you put yourself in Toga's shoes, she has twice still fresh in her mind. And in her mind, he was kind of like he wasn't shot down, but he was stabbed in the back. It was a dirty way to go. How could a hero do that? So then if she sees all this going on where Deku's running for his life and this girl's trying to shoot him with a sniper, that's a little too close to home for her. I feel like she might kind of be like, "Hey, that's
Yeah,
just like what you did twice, but now it's a bad guy doing it to a good guy, and so I'm gonna adapt the Stain mindset," which people forget. Toga idolizes Stain, like that's why she joined the League of Villains in the first place. So
yeah.
she does have that piece of her mind that tries to rationalize things. It's possible. I think that would be really cool if it did happen that way.
No, it would be cool and it would be a great read. I just really wish that in that one chapter, Toga would have just instead of talking to Ochako, she I wish she would have been able to just go talk to Deku about all of those things she was pondering beforehand. I think she wouldn't have reacted the way she did.
Yeah, Ochiko didn't really give her the time of day, but I mean, did you expect her to? There was a war that was in the middle of a
Oh no.
battle.
No, I completely understand where, both of them were coming from. I just think that of course Deku would have probably handled it a bit differently than she did. And probably would have got a much better positive outcomes. But
I
that
agree with
was
that.
the previous chapter for that.
Right. I'm with you there. Deku's he'll win you over. Like remember when he was in the Vestige world and he made all the Vestiges, well not all of them, but made everybody start crying, especially All Might, with his
Yep.
answer on why he needs to save Tamura or why he thinks he can.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Last thing in the chapter that I want to make sure to touch on is stating the obvious here, but Lady Nagant getting airwalk. I mean, I'm not sure. We touched on what was it that made Lady Nagant go bad in the first place, but whatever it was, she's bad for sure now. You don't get a quirk from All for One and just shake it off. It's
Right.
you made a deal with the devil at this point. She's when I saw that, I was like, dang, so there goes any hope of her being like sort of kind of good. In my opinion, you got a quirk from All for One, you're toast.
I really would love to know what she did. However, I would say that she was pretty much told that after Alpha One had said you slaughtered many of your fellow heroes. So she done killed goodness only knows how many heroes. So that was her ending point right there for me once I read that. And, accepting that quirk from Alpha One is just, just a little cherry on top. Like, oh yeah, you
Right.
bad.
You're bad and there's no coming back for you with
Yeah.
this.
And I don't think we see because at least I can't think of any off the top of my head right now. Pro heroes going bad.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, like, yeah, that she's the first one that we've known that is a traitor hero. So
Yeah,
that
so
is pretty big. It's huge.
yeah, it has to it whatever made her switch had to have been something just insane because since the society itself is pro hero, she would reap all the benefits being a pro hero. So what caused that snag to where you're like, nope, I'm done with this. I'm gonna go kill all these people. I really want to know. And I'm excited for that chapter that does go into her backstory to figure out what can cause, a hero that has all of these privileges, the way the society is built, to just move away from it.
Right. Reject it, like work in
Hmm.
opposition of it, and then
Yeah.
start killing her fellow humans. Like
Yes.
it definitely had to be something, and she had to be high up in, like, not only as a pro hero, but in the commission, pro hero commission people, because she also she was chasing after All for One back in the day. So she
Yeah.
had to have some pretty good high clearance and information, and to be tasked that would mean that she's got a lot of sway or way up there. So I think she saw something behind the scenes and didn't like the way that they went about it. And they might have even back then would have sacrificed people just to try to get to All for One. Because that's pretty much what they did with Hawks is, hey, you got to be a villain. Like they will go to any means for the most part to try to make sure that they save or beat the villains.
Hmm. She just took it way too far. It had to have been at some point.
Right.
I hate to always say Stain, 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 but my best guess is a less radical version of Stain. I mean, she's a pro hero, but I don't know where Endeavor was ranked at the time. She was in her prime. Just seeing people like Endeavor, Endeavor's not the first hero that was questionable. I could see her adapting that mindset where, hey, you're not a true hero. Because it says the fall, All for One's talking to her, the fall of the pro hero society that you wished for will never arrive as long as this boy lives. It sounds like Stain to me. I mean, kind of. Like, you're not worthy of being a hero. Maybe that's why she was slaughtering pro heroes.
But the one thing that bothers me with that particular part in this one is, okay, if her goal, like let's say she is trying to follow Stain's ideology, All for One doesn't go along with that whatsoever. Like, yeah, sure, killing Deku, offing him would bring that about, but he just wants it all wiped out. He doesn't care about any of it. So the fact that, she is going along with it, if she's going along with Stain's ideology, she's still not gonna get what she wants at the end of the day, if he takes over.
Yeah. But does she want All for One to I mean, she's screwed now. She done took a quirk from him. But
Yeah.
I guess in her mind, maybe she thinks because All for One was pitching the fall of pro hero society, not necessarily my takeover. So he was
But
appealing to her.
she was chasing after him at one point, so she should know where he falls in this. As she was a hero beforehand, she said herself, "I remember chasing you, during this time." As far
Hmm.
as I can understand, he never once spotted off anything, in regards to any frame of thought that would mirror what Stains were. So it's not like she doesn't know what this dude can be thinking or what his end goal is, since she was a hero. So that's the only thing that kind
Right.
of, eh,
I honestly do think that his ultimate goal isn't known. I really don't think that they know that it is to destroy everything, and that's why some of these people do go along with them. And when they do find out, I feel is when they will start to reject that. And to me, they don't realize how evil he really is. And it's not until his full plan is revealed and they're like, oh, whoa, if you want to destroy everything, that's me. That includes me. Like, I'm
Right.
bad, but I don't want to destroy everything. And that's when they turn. They don't necessarily go back to being a hero, but they stop working for him and reject him.
yeah, I guess this
That's
can all be
valid.
summed as it's essentially a cult. You don't
Right.
find out the leader is, not good for you until they're handing out the Kool-Aid.
So remember,
Exactly.
what was it, episode 2? Whenever it was the flashback in the Vestige world, whenever Yoichi's screaming at the two people, this guy wanted that person's quirk, and the other dude wanted the other person's quirkless body so that he looked normal. And All for One's like, are you really going to take away their happiness? Like he makes it seem like I've got the best intentions, but Yoichi was screaming, "Hey, there's no turning back," on deaf ears. But yeah, no, that's valid. I mean, look at Tamura. Tamura, he thought All for One was looking out for him. Now he finds out too late.
That he wants to take over his body, like so.
Yep.
He's always keeping, his goals and motives all hidden. But I thought I did want to point this out. What I thought that in that interaction which was so interesting to me, is when he was saying, "I want you to capture him, bring him back to me. And this is a flashback. So at the prison break, and he's saying he will be closely followed by several big name players. So it'd be best if you can find a way to separate them before engaging. Say, for example, if you waited for some rain." And I know that this is just the translations, but even based off of that, it's good enough that to me, and they're in the rain. It's almost, I mean, All for One, we know plans a lot out, but to say that in that manner, to me, it's almost like he has a night eye or somebody who can predict the future. There's no way he could just be, like, wait for the rain. Like, to me, it was just too weird of a implying something. And I might be reading into it, but I was like, it's a very interesting that he's like, just say, for example, if you waited for some rain.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Either he has someone who can see into the future, or they may have somebody who has powers like Storm. Goodness only knows.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I'm not saying you're wrong, but All for One has been known to play steps and steps and steps ahead. I mean, he's done that from the get-go. I mean, look at, again, Tamura. He got that to mess with All Might, basically. So, I mean, he's definitely a chess player. He likes to think ahead.
Just
I mean,
so
All for One
crazy.
has a million quirks within himself. There's probably some sort of Night Eye-ish type of quirk involved.
And I will give it, like, even before that, again, just going along with what you're saying, Kronos, about him being a chess player, because this one, the first statement, there will most likely be a boy who leaves UA and starts acting independently. Even when they got out of Tartarus, he at least knew that much. So that, to me, was a statement about him being a chess player. He already knew that Deku would be separating and working independently. But then on top of that, to add in that last part I was talking about, that to me is more prediction, not knowing moves in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's valid.
Yeah.
Crazy to see how that turns out. Like, oh, cool, you got Night Eye's quirk or something.
I mean, is it impossible?
I don't think it is. It kind of reminds me of, because what was Principal Nezu's quirk?
High spec. I was going to bring that up. Yep. And we know that All for One, I mean, I say we know. I'm willing to say we know All for One gave Nezu high spec. So I get experimented on and get a quirk if it wasn't All for One. So yeah, high spec. Perfect cause and effect reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could apply that to weather, right? So
I would
in
assume so.
in my mind, high spec is in All for One's quirk library. Like, I feel like that's a sure thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's a
can get
safe
behind
bet.
that. Yeah.
Yep. Well, that's about the end. Deal with the devil.
Well, that I love the chapter. Then the one last thing, not this chapter, but the chapter before, we got to see a little bit more better on this chapter. It was on her belt. Clearly isn't her bullets, so we know that now. But still, I went in and, like, from the last chapter and really looked in. Me and Danny Boy were talking about it. The canisters, the bomb that was thrown at All Might doesn't look like the one. It could be the ones on the belt, but still, it doesn't look exactly. So I'm just wondering who else, if it wasn't thrown from her, who else is out there and working with them? Like, who threw that?
Well,
Yeah,
we know it wasn't Overhaul. That baby ain't got no arms.
He could kick it.
Kick the
Pretty
can.
much everybody in Tartarus would want to be the one who killed All Might, right? So it could be quite a few different people, I feel like.
Yeah.
Most of the people in Tartarus were put in there by All Might. So
Hmm.
Moonfish. I just want to see Moonfish. I'm just wishful thinking. Anyway, all right. Well, anything else on the chapter before we move on to questions?
I think that's all I got.
Someone was making me. I forgot who said it, but someone was making me laugh in the chat. They were saying, "Man, Horikoshi needs to chill with this sexy villain lady. I'm not even thinking about Deku anymore." So
He is gorgeous.
yeah, a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Favorable panels of her in this chapter.
Yeah, I'll risk it all.
Or anything else on the chapter before we do questions?
I'm good.
You good, Loki?
Yes, sir. All good. I love love Lady Nagant. She's awesome.
Nagant. All right.
Can't get enough of her.
Nagant. I just Nagant. All right. Cool. All right, guys, we're gonna close it right here. Unfortunately, our recording bot failed us at the end of the video, so we had some great questions that we lost. We asked our recording bot to capture the video, and Craig said Nagant. So instead, I'm gonna close with one final question for Lokan. How do you think it would be? I mean, we talked about Toga saving Deku, would Stain saving Deku. What if it was both of them?
Them two together, that'd be make a great pair. Just imagine them both going after someone and wanting their blood, and Stain's like, let me lick it, and then Toga like, no, let me lick it, and then both just like, lick, lick, lick.